Hello and welcome back to another movie review. Today we're talking about 28 years later. So let's get right into it. I want to try to keep these reviews short and to the point, but feel free to ask me more about my thoughts or share yours down in the comments. So 28 years. I watched both of the first two 28 Days movies for the first time just earlier this month in anticipation of 28 years later. And that was purely off the back of the marketing. I am not even a big fan of zombie movies, but the trailer editing for 28 Years was so good, I had to check it out. And so I saw both of those. I won't get too into the weeds with my thoughts on the other movies since the review here is for 28 Years, but I think it's enough to say that they also had me looking forward to the new installment just as much, and I'm glad I watched them. So for 28 Years, for that movie, for starters, I think it was a really good movie overall. I think it did some interesting things at pretty much every level that I pay attention to, from the soundtrack to cinematography to the story. One of the things that stood out to me was the way that it would play with kind of the expectations for who the main characters were going to be. There was some change-ups after the first act that sort of shifted the tone of the movie a little bit, and they were really well done. And it was not what you expected, maybe from both the marketing and from the opening of the film, but they made it work really well, and it moved the story nicely. I think it's worth noting that even though 28 Years is the third movie in this series, it's kind of iconic for zombies. At least for me, I felt like I noticed that the zombies in 28 Years Later were used very carefully. I don't know if I would say sparingly. There's plenty of zombie going around in the movie, but they're applied carefully, and they work really well in every scene that they're in. But it's not a movie about zombies, and so they're not the focus. They're never showing up when it would be distracting. It works really well without being overbearing. It's also worth mentioning about the zombies that since a 28-year period has passed in this setting, the zombies have changed in some key ways, which I'll leave you to watch the movie to see how. But what jumped out at me was that the movie only makes kind of a very passing attempt to explain this difference. And I wouldn't necessarily call it a problem. It makes a lot of sense in the context that this explanation is given. But what I will say is that the question remained throughout the film, and I think that it's something that should be addressed at some point. But since this is the start of a new trilogy, they ought to have plenty of time and opportunity to get into that. So I am hoping that that's something that comes up, and I look forward to learning more. Another thing that I was kind of impressed with was how much poignancy they were able to just really wring out of very simple scenes. The movie has a strong emotional core that especially carries it in the final act, and I have to say that most of that comes from a really good performance by Alfie Williams. I think most people would kind of agree that kid actors can be kind of a hit or miss thing, but Alfie Williams absolutely knocked it out of the park with some excellent support from the rest of the cast. They were excellent as well, and yeah, I was really impressed with everybody's acting. It was solid and well performed. I guess I kind of mentioned the end there for a little bit, and that's worth speaking of. The very tail end of the movie is our setup for the future of the series, and it was really weird. really strange setup, and sort of stinger for the next movies. I won't say much more than that to avoid spoilers. I think what I can reasonably say is that it immediately made me think of A Clockwork Orange. And to be fair, I have basically just secondhand knowledge of A Clockwork Orange. I've never seen the whole movie through. I've just seen bits and pieces and memes and things. So that analysis might be really far off the mark, but considering that it's a big piece of iconic British cinema, and it came so clearly to mind, I had to wonder if it was sort of intentional. So you'll have to let me know what you think when you see it. But yeah, interesting, weird ending. But overall, 28 years later, really solid movie. Really enjoyed it. Worked well for me. Good horror, a good story, and definitely has me hooked for the next entry. So yeah, what do you think? Let me know down below. We're starting to get into the sort of busy time of year for movies. Summer blockbuster season's upon us. So with any luck, I'm kind of hoping that we'll have basically weekly reviews for a little while here. We'll see how I manage that time. But thanks for joining in on this one, and hope to see you in the next one. This is Daft Pirate signing off.